warm welcome to the drama video of the day. There's so much to talk about. Wow. I'm gonna say I thought this video first and foremost was gonna be like by Carola and Joost, but I was like, there was so much other drama here that I was like, wow. There are actually we have a little bit of issue with the Swedish finale jury, and apparently I'm gonna read the translation here. So, because if you don't understand English, here's the thing: many people are angry with the Swedish jury, and 30. This means that 30 complaints has been filed to the review board of complaints. And let's see, I'm gonna read the article here. This was published this was published yesterday around 8 in the evening. So I'm gonna say, let's start. I'm gonna link everything below. Eden Golan's Hurricane received the Swedish people 12 points in Eurovision final, but the Swedish jury gives 0 points. Now reports against the Swedish jury fall to the review board. Complaints. The Swedish people gave the highest score to Israel's entry, Eden Golan, in the Eurovision final, but the Swedish jury seemed not to have been as impressed, giving Israel 0 points. The difference has been criticized after the finals. According to the review board, 36 reports or complaints has been received so far after the Saturday's final. Oopsie. The reports primarily concern the Swedish jury group. This media authority press officer in the email. At a total of 286 notifications against the Eurovision broadcast has been sent since the first semifinal. 286? Damn. The vast majority concerned after Swedish Erik Sade's performance, where he had a Palestinian shawl wrapped around his wrist in the first semifinal. Oopsie, Erik Sade. Oopsie. I don't know why I'd be like, yeah, face the consequences, boom. Anyway, in the second semifinal, it has been reported how Israel's contribution again was advertised, and the booing against Eden Golan was censored according to reports, and the jury comments, and many people were complaining about the Swedish jury. The jury's comment on the criticism. Well, we gave Israel certain points. To the Göteborgs-Posten, the jury chairman Erik Olsen said that he received a lot of criticism from upset viewers after the final voting. I think the reporter said, the Swedish people put a 12 on Israel's contribution and you gave it no points at all. What does it say? And as a response to that jury member said, then you have to know how it's done. We certainly gave Hurricane points. We gave all 24 songs points except for Sweden, and then because of the Netherlands was disqualified. But in the EBU system, only the top 10 are reported. Those who didn't make the top 10, i.e. 14 songs, automatically got 0 points in official voting. Olsen said to GP, that's the short version of Göteborgs-Posten. Olsen said also said that despite the massive criticism, he feels that the jury decision was the right one and that they were professional throughout the process. Were you though? Really? If you're so out of touch with the Swedish public? Really? Anyway, for me, and he also concluded his articles by saying, for me, it's just nice to know that the work has been done in a correct and a good way. We stand straight in this without outside influences. Okay, that was the response to the whole criticism. But 286 complaints were reported. That's a lot. And many people complained about Erik Saade. Oops. Oopsie daisy, Erixade. You got some complaints. You have some explaining to do. Oopsie. But yeah, that's the consequences of freedom of speech when you do something like that. And many people, I mean, someone called me the R word when I didn't comment on the performance between Eden Golan, Chanel, and Erixade. I was like, you really have to use that word? Come on. Anyway, that was a fun article to read because I paid basically that pretty much solidifies what I've been saying, that yeah, you can have the freedom of speech, but here's the consequences when people don't like what you're saying. But don't call it racism, because it's not. Anyway, and also the fact that many people have been angry to the final jury, and they are now saying that they voted correctly. Okay, that's your truth, but again, I think I understand why. But anywho, let's move on to the next article, shall we? I mean, let's talk about the next story in the fact that Carola is backing up, is supporting Eden Golan's participation in Eurovision, and she also directed criticism at those who booed when Eden Golan entered the stage. And on Instagram, Carola said, "Where did the Unite by Music go?" Who knows? I mean, the thing about the jury also, I want to just add in a little thing, because I mean, I think they were as afraid as the Eurovision reactor viewers out there who didn't want to react to Israel, because I mean, I think they were so afraid they're going to get the backlash of their fans that they were, because I think it has been revealed who was the Swedish jury. I think I recognize one on that jury, and I think they're afraid to be I think they're afraid to be linked to Israel now, so I think they voted down her because they didn't want to get the complaints from the fans. I think that's the reason. I mean, I'm gonna link every article in this video down below so you can read it for your juicy self, for your glorious self. I think you're glorious for watching this. Mwah. Anyway, let's see here. During this Saturday Eurovision final, pop icon Carola, 57. I cannot believe she's almost 60. For me, she's forever 40 for some reason. Pop icon Carola, 58, was there and paid tribute to ABBA during one of the interval acts. I mean, I'm gonna say the ABBA thing was a little bit of a flop because they basically just cut a chunk from their act in London and just copy pasted to the performance. I was like, you can have actually not included that because it looks so weird, because it just talked about Eurovision, but I mean, for me it was like they have cut out the part of their performance in the London act, and then yeah, they had this Avatar London act. It looked weird, but I want to see it live, but it was like they cut out that part of the act and just chunk it into Eurovision recording. I was like, why? Anyway, now the artist said that she is thoroughly dissatisfied, partially with her own effort and also the turbulence surrounding Israel's participation in the competition when Eden Golan, 20 years old, competed for her own country. Eurovision is an interesting thermometer on this world's political correct, PK, political correct fest, in the middle of all the music that is intended to unite. Nevertheless, the audience stands and makes political frenzy in the middle of a live broadcast for a 20-year-old singer where the country has fulfilled all the EBU's requirements to be able to participate, which Russia did not. I mean, that's the thing that many people forget, that it's not the country that is competing, it is the country's broadcasting that is competing, and EBU has a set of rules, and apparently according to EBU, Israel fulfill the requirements to do so. I think two of the reasons Russia is not here is because of the Ukraine invasion, and also the fact that they didn't, I think it was 3 broadcasters that didn't fulfill the requirements, so they were like, well, you're out. Many people were like, why is Russia not here? I was like, do you want Russia back? For some reason, I was like, I mean, the thing is that when I said about the amnesia thing, I don't recall back in 2009 that Russia faced criticism back because they invaded Georgia. That was 2008, and they won, and they hosted 2009. I don't recall the criticism back then. Sure, I was 20, that was years ago, but I don't recall the criticism back then. that's the thing about this. It feels like, yeah, you forgot what Russia also has done. It was like, yeah, they invaded Georgia 2008, they invaded Crimea 2014, and they were still allowed to compete back up until 2022 when it started a bigger conflict with Ukraine. I was like, girl, don't you realize that Russia has been very Anyway, let's move on. Where were I? How difficult should it be for them to distinguish between drives and facts, and also where did the United by Music go? Carola wrote in a post on Instagram. I mean, I think she's a little bit correct because, yeah, sure. Also, Carola is a very religious person. She has always been that, but I feel like, yeah, I mean, I think she has a point. Where, I mean, it feels like, yeah, the Eurovision fans in the arena really made it very uncomfortable to be there when they were particularly booing there. And also, it is very sad when you read stories. I think the Aftonbladet did an interview with big Eurovision channel from Israel, and they were in the Malmö arena, this Eurovision channel. I don't recall, I don't recall what they were, what the name is. But I think they said when they arrived to Malmö Arena and in the press center, and usually these people they hang out with, I mean, the Eurovision fandom is like family, but when they got there, they were pretty much, ignored by the people they talked to for the last year. I was like, well, that's fun. When you know people for so long in the same center and the same community, when you show up and people basically ignore you, well, that's fun. Yeah, it comes all back to the whole bullying thing. I was like, yeah, they throws you out because you're from a certain country. Great. Anyway, and also Carola has some criticism towards Ireland. I mean, she's not alone. I've seen criticism against Ireland's performance, and not because of the sexual preferences that goes by, but the whole other thing. Critical of Ireland's contribution, she also points a holy boot at Ireland's remarkable contribution, artist Bambi Thug. I didn't realize she was 31. Performance also what has been described as a cult and about a witch. And a contribution, Carola, which is both Christian active in the Church of Sweden, posed a question. I mean, she's a very religious person. She has been that since she was like 16. I think she thanked God when she won back in 83 with Fremling. Yeah. Anyway, I don't care if you're religious or not. Don't put it on me though. Then there was that with Ireland's contribution, satanic ritual on stage in front of audience of millions. I think she reposted that, so it was like millions now, not billions. People have not chosen to have a horde of demons against them. What happened? Or is this just me or a few others who reacted? The artist writes on Instagram. I gotta say that my sister was watching this Eurovision finals. I think she watched up until the voting, and she was like, when Bambi Thug was on stage, she was like, what is this? So no, Carola, you're not alone on this. As well as if I was to stand and sing about Jesus is written and the blood cleanses up from all sin on repeat, what had I got it? Probably not. If there is something we should all preserve now, it is to keep our hearts warm and pure, I think. What do you think? Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, I think for someone who is a little bit religious like she was, and she is, I think Bambi Thug's performance was a little bit out there, so. Yeah, and then she also speaks in this article about the whole, she's a little bit annoyed of herself because she did an interval act with Charles Perrelli and Conchita Wurst, and they were doing there to draw attention to the 50-year anniversary of ABBA's win back in 1974. But yeah, she also complains a little bit about the whole performance because she thought her singing was a little bit wobbly in the beginning, and also because the wardrobe thing, because it didn't have enough time to prepare for dress match, so that's why she wear the golden trench coat. Anywho, that was Carola's take on this one. Carola, you're still our Eurovision queen in Sweden, but yeah. Anyway, let's move on to fun thing. I mean, this whole video is just chaos to me. And we have one. I think we have one big story to talk about that is left, and I think you already know which one. We have to address the Joost situation. Yeah, stay tuned. Yes. Let's talk about Joost Klein, because this situation is getting, I feel like, worse for every minute I talk about this. Anyway, let's talk about. I'm gonna link both posts from Instagram underneath in the video, so you can go in and translate the writing and read it for yourself if you want to. The police are largely finished with the investigation about the threats against the Netherlands Eurovision singer Joost Klein. I mean, about the threats, the whole event investigation about the whole threats, and I'm doing translation on this one, so sorry, I need to read ahead so this translation makes sense. Anyway, the investigation is in largely complete with us in the police in exhibited prosecution. A time is set when the suspect must take part in the documents. When that date has passed, the case goes to the prosecutor. I think it will be sometimes at the beginning of June. Says Emil Andersson, head of investigation says Emil Andersson, head of the investigation emergency section in Malmö, to Aftonbladet. This case will handle in the form of faster prosecution, and there will likely be such a charge, according to the police. When we have a faster prosecution cases, the prognosis is generally good. Otherwise, it will not be a faster prosecution case. It is based on the fact that there is a clear evidence, and then it goes into this fast track. Yeah, and we can take a little quick facts about this. Facts about faster prosecution. In order for a crime to be considered for possession within faster prosecution for adult offenders, the preliminary investigation must be led by the police. The crime may have a maximum sentence of 3 years in prison. I don't think he would get 3 years in prison. I think he's just gonna get a fine. I think it's just going to get a fine, not 3 years in prison. And the perpetrator must have been found at or near the scene of the crime. Well, this is basically, he was there. The crime must also be easy to investigate in order to be handled as a faster prosecution. Well, there were witnesses, so yeah. Anywho, it doesn't, and they also posted another post about this. It doesn't really matter if the person is still in the country. We can pursue the case anyway. Emil Andersson, head of the investigation emergency section in Malmö, keeps saying. And the investigation is largely complete against Joost Klein, who has been investigated for illegal threats and against the person in the Eurovision production. According to Aftonbladet's information, the artist has admitted that he lunged with his fist. And according to sources to Aftonbladet, Joost Klein has admitted the deed in questioning. He said to have become very stressed by all photographers and asked them to stop filming. Joost believes that some photographers got very close. He became angry and raised his arm with a fist and lunged at the photographer, according to the source. However, he should not have hit the photographer. I mean, yeah, and also, I think I need to add that too. Hold on. Yes, I just want to add into the whole situation the fact that there were an article also days ago about the fact that they are saying that this young female photographer has been offered help and support, as this source understands, as she is quite devastated by the incident, and and that EBU wouldn't have acted as they did if they had not assessed that the incident was very serious. I mean, I mean, I'm gonna say, imagine that. I mean, several witnesses perceived Joyce as very offensive. This source saying, according to Aftonbladet's experience, Klein also caused the photographer's camera to break. I mean, I have an understanding. I mean, I think I have an understanding of what happened, but yeah, I think he really lost his shit when he came went off the stage, and yeah, I mean that is what I think happened, that he went off of the stage. Well, now here, this part of the article. When George stepped off the stage, a photographer was waiting. He asked her repeatedly not to film him, but she continued. Then he made a threatening gesture towards the camera without actually touching her. I mean, there are versions, the Dutch version and the Eurovision version goes a little bit separate ways, but I think I have an understanding of what's happened. That he went off stage, there was photographers there, and she was there, and this young photographer, I guess, was the closest. And then she was taking photos, and he basically snapped, and then went into outrage mood and made a gesture that was very threatening. She must have been so terrified that she actually dropped the camera. And yeah, I mean, I can understand. I think I have a visual in my head what's happened, but if this case, I mean, we don't know what's going to happen. This is just a recap of what happened and what the articles are saying about this whole situation, and it is a whole mess. So yeah, we shall see what happens. But yeah, this is the recap of this whole Joost situation, and yeah, hopefully after this, I mean, I don't think he would get jail time. I think it's gonna get a fine. I think that's it. That is all he's gonna get. I think he's gonna get a fine and leave Sweden. I think that is pretty much it. I mean, anyway, this situation is very chaotic and very sad that we end this Eurovision season like this. But yeah, shit happens, and I think to all the singers for 2025, just put on a happy face and go through the green room and don't look at the camera. Because, no. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Anyway, bye. Oh, hi, you're still here. I hope you have not forgotten to subscribe. So subscribe here and look for the recommended video over here, and end credit now. Bye.